Welcome to AnimeFan Narrations, Solo Leveling Episode 6, Chapter 57, Part 2.
Given the limited options, he thought to himself,
I guess kimchi will have to do, right?
This is the CCTV footage recorded near the American Monitoring Division's building. Cracks suddenly formed on the walls of the building, and...
Ignoring the details of the news broadcast, Ahn Sahng-Min focused on the steamy rice on his spoon, which he topped with a cold piece of kimchi from his separate kimchi refrigerator. Just as he was about to take a bite, his phone rang loudly.
Who could it be at this hour?
Annoyed, Ahn Sahng-Min glanced at his smartphone, but his irritation quickly vanished when he saw the caller's name. He answered the call with a cheerful tone.
Hello, this is Ahn Sahng-Min.
The caller was none other than Jinwoo. Ahn Sahng-Min's face lit up as he spoke. However, as he listened to what Jinwoo was saying, his expression gradually turned to one of confusion.
Excuse me? You want to know if you can join the training sessions for our new recruits?
All right, that's settled.
Jinwoo ended the call. Initially, Ahn Sahng-Min was taken aback, but once Jinwoo explained, he was more than happy to agree to the request. Thanks to that, Jinwoo would now have the chance to observe how Baekho trained their new recruits during a raid.
I've already arranged the van.
Even on a busy day, Yoo Jinho had managed to help him out with that. The young man had mentioned he could only step away briefly, and apologized for any inconvenience. Jinwoo noted that Jinho seemed much more mature compared to how he used to be. In any case, Jinwoo was all set. He was now standing in front of the home of the troubled student that Gina's teacher had asked him to persuade.
It's pretty close to our place.
It was just a short 2-minute walk. Jinwoo could probably throw a rock from his room and hit it. He glanced around the neighborhood. It was a small area with old, run-down buildings. He could tell that, like his own family, she likely hadn't grown up with much. He understood why she wanted to become a hunter. It reminded him of his own past.
But it's often people like that who end up dying first.
He had been injured numerous times himself. As an E-rank hunter, he had flirted with death on several occasions. If not for his mother's rare illness, he would never have taken up this dangerous job. For an E-rank hunter, the dungeon was a perilous place. If he didn't intervene, she would surely regret her choice. Forget regret, she might even lose her life.
And that's not uncommon.
After all, dozens of hunters died every day worldwide. Jinwoo didn't care about any of them. It was their choice.
However,
this time, the person wasn't a complete stranger. If she had been, Jinwoo would have ignored the teacher's request, even if she was Gina's classmate. But the girl's name was familiar to Jinwoo. He sensed someone approaching. Looking up, he saw it was the troubled student. Seeing her face, Jinwoo confirmed it was indeed the same girl.
What the?
The student noticed Jinwoo and tilted her head.
Juicy, what brings you here?
Just as he thought, the girl recognized him.
wow, it's a small world, isn't it?
Jinwoo scratched his head. A high school girl aspiring to become a hunter. She was the only girl in Yoo Jinho's raiding party, and her young age had initially worried Jinwoo.
Is it all right to include her?
I consulted a lawyer. There's no legal reason why she can't join. The real issue arises if she gets injured.
Han Songyi.
When Gina's teacher mentioned her name, Jinwoo knew it had to be her. To be sure, he checked her records. The day she stopped attending school coincided with the day she started raiding with Yoo Jinho's team. Realizing this, Jinwoo felt partly responsible, so he decided to step in. Their raiding party was unique, and he didn't want her to have unrealistic expectations about the hunter world. She had earned 30 million won in the past week, an unimaginable sum for a high schooler.
One thing is certain.
If he ever heard she died in a dungeon, it would haunt him. So, he decided to convince her today. It wouldn't be too hard.
So why are you here?
Han Songyi looked at Jinwoo with wide eyes, appearing somewhat hesitant.
No way, the hunter the teacher wanted to introduce me to was you, Juicy.
He was slightly annoyed by her calling him Juicy, a Korean term used to address a middle-aged man, but nodded with a smile.
I don't know what the teacher told you, but I'm not going back to school. I don't intend to quit being a hunter.
She tried to shut down whatever he was planning right away. In the raiding party, she had been quiet, but when it came to her future, her determination was clear. It was the kind of mature behavior typical of kids these days.
Reminds me of another mature kid at home.
Jinwoo smiled broadly. Jinwoo spoke calmly.
Yeah, I'm not here to tell you to give it up.
The girl's eyes widened in surprise.
Really?
Jinwoo understood that telling someone like her not to do something was the quickest way to ensure they did it. He never intended to convince her with words alone. He planned to show her the harsh reality.
I learned that lesson on my first raid.
He had discovered that reality was far more brutal than he had imagined. Han Songyi tried to maintain a stern demeanor as she asked,
Then why are you here?
Jinwoo stepped forward. The girl almost took a step back in surprise, but managed to hold her ground, not wanting to seem weak. Standing in front of Han Songyi, Jinwoo smiled. It wasn't meant to be, but it came off as a rather sinister smile, filled with hidden motives.
I want to help you become an extraordinary hunter.
She didn't need much persuading to enter the dungeon. Intrigued by the chance to observe Baekho's new recruit training firsthand, she eagerly agreed, without suspecting Jinwoo's intentions. When she inquired about how he knew her homeroom teacher, Jinwoo showed her a picture of himself and his sister.
Did you see you're Gina's brother?
A particular word kept bothering him, but Jinwoo let it slide since everything was going according to plan.
Get in.
Thank you.
Jinwoo drove Han Songyi to the location where Baekho would be conducting their new recruit training through a raid. He knew the training would start at 9 p.m., so they had plenty of time. The van, which seemed too large for just the two of them, sped towards their destination as if it were flying. Was it because of his enhanced agility and perception stats? Jinwoo, who hadn't driven since getting his license, was now maneuvering the car with impressive skill. Even a bit of concentration made him outpace other vehicles effortlessly.
These attribute stats are really something.
From the passenger seat, Han Songyi started a conversation.
So, does Gina really study all day at home? I heard she even uses encyclopedias as wallpaper to constantly memorize things.
Did his sister really have that kind of reputation? At home, she was just a girl who loved chicken and sleeping.
She's pretty normal. When she gets home, she plays around, eats, and sleeps.
Well, mostly sleeps.
Really? How can her grades be so good if that's the case?
I didn't believe it either. In junior high, she was just a girl who went to arcades with me.
While they chatted, they arrived at the gate. Jinwoo parked the car. This neighborhood seemed to generate a lot of gates for some reason. Because of that, most residents had moved away, making parking easy. Jinwoo heard there were at least 8 abandoned residential buildings in the area. Once the remaining people moved out, the government planned to flatten the entire place. Jinwoo and Han Songyi got out of the car. There was an eerie feeling in the air. Jinwoo thought he heard cheering from his shadow. He attributed it to the atmosphere. Han Songyi was a bit scared by the mood, but brightened up when she saw other hunters in the distance. Her eyes sparkled like someone spotting a celebrity.
Well, they are Baekho's hunters.
To a student aspiring to be a hunter, they were probably just like celebrities. Considering how hunters were portrayed in the media, it wasn't surprising.
Oh, you actually came.
Hyun Gicheol spotted Jinwoo and walked over.
Do you remember me?
Jinwoo gave a slight nod. When Hyun Gicheol greeted him with a sincere smile, not just a professional one, Jinwoo couldn't help but smile back. Although he had only met Hyun Gicheol a few times, the man had a likable demeanor.
I heard from the chief, so this is the student?
Hello?
Han Songyi bowed her head. As they exchanged brief greetings, a large man separated from the group of hunters and approached.
Can we get started already? We're not here for a picnic. It's almost 9.
Without waiting for a response, he headed back to the gate. Jinwoo sensed that this man was no ordinary hunter and turned to Hyun Gicheol.
Who was that?
He's an A-rank new recruit who just joined the guild. He wasn't too happy when we told him about you and the student. He said something about a dungeon not being a playground.
A rank?
Hyun Gicheol nodded. The man's A-rank status explained the strong presence Jinwoo felt. Jinwoo asked another question.
What's the level of the raiding party?
1 A rank, 7 B ranks, and 4 C ranks, making a total of 12 members.
You're bringing in A rank and B ranks for a C rank gate?
Well, they may have high ranks, but they're still rookies. This is to give them a taste of what a dungeon is like.
Hyun Gicheol spoke with pride. Once they completed today's raid, these recruits would move on to official high-level raids.
Still, an A rank and 7 B ranks for a C rank gate is overkill.
Jinwoo's expression changed. In reality, this was why Ahn Sahng-Min had let him join so easily. The chief wanted to impress Jinwoo with Baekho's elite new recruits, showcasing the guild's strength. However, contrary to Ahn Sahng-Min and Hyun Gicheol's expectations, Jinwoo looked at the raiding party with a hint of disappointment. The gate was only C rank. Given that, the raiding party's strength was excessive.
If the raid is too easy, my plan won't work.
This was a concern for him, but he dismissed it.
Once she sees the reality inside, she'll understand.
She would see how truly powerless an E-ranker was in a dungeon. That should be enough to make her see the truth.
When are we going in?
Oblivious to Jinwoo's real intentions, Han Songyi eagerly asked when the raid would begin. Jinwoo turned to her and saw her face brimming with excitement and anticipation.
Let's see how long that enthusiasm lasts.
He chuckled to himself and then addressed Hyun Gicheol.
All right, we'll head in too.
Ah, yes.
Hyun Gicheol glanced around, then leaned in to whisper to Jinwoo.
If Hunter Sung Jinwoo Nim gets involved, the raid will end too quickly. Could you stay back and observe?
That was his plan all along.
Of course, I'll do just that.
He planned to resume raids with Yoo Jinho the next day, and had no intention of interfering with Baekho's recruit training. But with his Shadow Army's first combat mission tomorrow, he brought Han Songyi to this raid instead.
I don't want her to see the shadow soldiers in action.
If she saw him effortlessly defeating magical beasts with his shadows, it might fuel her misconceptions. Jinwoo and Han Songyi approached the gate. Unlike the A-ranker, some of the other hunters greeted them warmly.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
Since the goal of this raid wasn't profit, having more people was welcome.
Thanks for watching Solo Leveling on AnimeFan Narrations. If you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell for updates. Share your thoughts in the comments. See you next time.